per day thereafter on each of the counts.
So
Listen to me, ma'am, please. Okay. If you need more time, and regardless, you need to stay in touch with this gentleman. If you need more time than that, you can request more time and he'll explain that to you.
okay.
But for right now, get this gentleman's card, stay in touch with him. You'll get a written order in the mail. And it's very important that you keep focused on this, okay?
Well, I certainly am trying. Every time I get a roofer that I find that there's a rainstorm and I get further down the list. Right
Okay.
now, I'm 7th on his list
Okay.
to get the whole roof replaced.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Our next case is on page 38. Senior Inspector Gail Williams, Supervisor Julio Davila presenting. Case number CE 22020492. Case address 670 Southwest 30th Terrace. Owner Sophia Jackson Gopi. Is there a respondent for 670 Southwest 30th? Okay. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 5/10/22. 8 sections not complied at $25 per day. $6,800 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
Good morning, Julio Davila, City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance Supervisor, presenting on behalf of Senior Code Compliance Officer Gail Williams for the case and number is read. The case was originally presented to the Special Magistrate on April 12, 2022, and the following violations were cited. 18-12.A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and or its swale. 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. Structural parts, including fascia, soffits, are in disrepair. There are areas of the exterior that have stains, dirt, and missing peeling paint. 47-34.B.1. There is overnight parking of derelict vehicles at this location. 18-1, there are non-permitted items under the roof being stored at this property that is creating a public nuisance, including but not limited to tires, bricks, and buckets. It is being maintained in such a manner that the property is or may reasonably become infested or inhabited by rodents, vermin, or wild animals, or may furnish a breeding place for mosquitoes, or threatens or endangers the public health, safety, or welfare, and may adversely affect and impair the economic welfare of adjacent properties. 9-304B, the paved driveway is not maintained. There are areas with cracks and dirt and oil stains. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover, including the swale area. 9-305A, there is growth of landscape material along with an accumulation of leaves encroaching upon the public right-of-way. And 18-4 subsection C, there are derelict vehicles on the swale and or driveway in front of this occupied residential property. As of June 8, 2022, the last inspection revealed that the property has not come into compliance and the city is requesting the full amount to be imposed.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right to the microphone and state your name, please.
Ivan Jackson Gopi.
Okay, you have anything you want to add to what this gentleman said?
Not really. Well, for the derelict vehicles, none of the vehicles are derelict. The inspector that came by told us that it was a derelict vehicle because the tire was flat. As of right now, though, anything considered to be a derelict vehicle has been moved off the property.
Are you the owner of the property?
I am not.
Who is the owner of the
My
property?
mother is the owner of the property.
Okay, do we have a power of attorney?
I brought that.
Do, okay, all right, go ahead.
But like I said, the derelict vehicles aren't there anymore at the moment. And as for like the overgrowth and stuff, we've been like cleaning the yard out slowly, but it's been a process.
Okay, Well, you got 8
Sorry.
violations, okay? And this was heard, and I think I remember the case, this was heard back in April the 12th, and not one single violation is complied with. I'm going to grant the city's request that the fines be imposed and continue to accrue. This is a serious matter. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 27. It is an administrative hearing for a citation appeal. Senior Inspector Dorian Cologne, case number CE 22040645, case address 2099 Northeast 54th Court. Owner Claire Stecker and Seth Stecker. This case was cited on 4/20/22 to comply by 4/20/22. One section complied at $750. $750 accrued, and again, this is a citation appeal.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Senior Inspector Caloyan for the City of Fort Lauderdale. The case number is CE 22040645. Case address is 2099 Northeast 54th Court. I responded to a complaint, an action item in reference to some trees cut down without a permit, and there were four trees in total. 1 tree on the property and 3 in the right-of-way. I issued a citation for the removal of the trees in the right-of-way, and the citation was for a one-time civil penalty for $700. That was $250 per tree. And I would like the photos entered for the record, and the neighbor is here to speak, and this is, like she says, on an appeal on the citation that was issued.
One moment. Okay. Did you say there's a neighbor here?
Well, the owner, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, sir, if you'll speak right in the microphone and state your name, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Seth Stecker.
All right, you're going to have to keep your voice up and speak right into the microphone.
Sorry, my name is Seth Stecker.
Okay, this is an administrative hearing, a citation appeal. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning. So when my wife and I purchased the home at the end of last year, we moved in December. We loved these trees, but very quickly we learned when there were some storms, a lot of the branches, like big branches, started falling down and hitting the house. So I ended up calling the city, and I spoke with a gentleman named Charlie Livio in the landscaping plans. He's a landscaping plans examiner in the zoning and landscaping department. So long story short, he gave me a list of things to do, which included hiring an arborist to review the trees and see what could be done, whether or not we should take them in and reduce the branches or potentially remove them, which we did not want to do. However, when the arborist came, and I have his report here, long story short, he said 2 of the 4 trees were well on their way to dying. They were infested with termites. They were imminent danger to collapse and hit the home. So I then took the same report, brought it to Charlie at the at his department here, the zoning and landscaping, put it on file with him. And I asked him, I said, do I need to get a permit? Do I need to sign for anything? He said, nope, this arborist report supersedes any need to get any type of a permit. He's like, you can go ahead and take down the trees. So I then paid an extreme amount of money to the company to come and remove the trees. Once couple of the trees were gone and a couple were left, as you can see in the pictures, Officer Cologne came by and informed us that there was this problem. I reached out to this same person, Charlie, and I said, what's going on here? And his response was, oops, we missed that these trees were in the right-of-way. I didn't really know what a right-of-way was up until this point. So he's like, it's our fault, and he also blamed the arborist, and it's all here. I have it in writing if you'd like to see it. But we tried our best to do everything by the letter of the law. We did not intend to do anything to violate anybody. And this is on file with the city.
All right.
Not really sure why it arrived at this.
All right, officer.
So, speaking of what he did mention with Charlie, that is correct. Charlie did send it an email, which I'm sure we have the same email. And the supervisor said that one of their inspectors, James Fetter, had gone out to the property, but he is not here, so I can't speak on his behalf. So basically, that's all.
I can I could address that if you all would like as well. The gentleman I think she's referencing came out and we had a woman painting my house, and he spoke to the painter, is what I'm imagining, because I was handed these 2 sheets of paper by the painter who had no idea what was going on. I was at home working. It was the middle of the workday. I was on a conference call, so I couldn't come out. That's about the extent of that.
Okay. So he spoke to someone at the city,
Correct.
told him it was okay to cut down the
Yes, sir.
trees.
100%.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And who was that at the city?
Charlie Livio is his name. Landscaping plans examiner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Bass?
So, Your Honor, if I could first? Your Honor, if I could first?
Oh, yes,
Thank
please.
you. Rana Montoya Hassan with the City Attorney's Office. Mr. Livio, who the gentleman references, I have an email to the property owner dated Tuesday, April 19th, which states, to recap our conversation, your arborist Bob Koenig quoted Florida state statute. The statute does allow a property owner to remove trees if there's an arborist report that it's a danger or it's dying or so forth, and the trees don't have to be replaced, you don't need a permit. So that is absolutely true. However, he goes on to say what your arborist did not realize, and what we did not catch, was that 3 of the 4 black olive trees were not on your property, but were on the right-of-way. The state statute does not apply to trees in the right-of-way. So you do need a permit for trees in the right-of-way, and you do have to replace them. So that's.
However, I went there and I spoke to the gentleman in person. We talked multiple times, and he never once brought this up until it was after it was all done. I thought, as a representative of the city, he would have told me this in advance. Again, I would have certainly handled it exactly as I was directed. He was never mentioned to me. So, and he says right here, as the woman just read, because I have the same email right here. What your arborist not realize, what, quote, we did not catch, so he also did not realize it and didn't tell us until I arrived here.
All right, did you want to speak?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Supervisor Stephanie Bass for the City of Fort Lauderdale. We did mention that James came out, who was also a landscaping inspector, and the supervisor stated, I know you said that you were out, but he spoke to someone at the house.
A painter.
According to the email received from the supervisor there, this was prior to the trees being removed, correct?
I think so. Yes, ma'am. I do think so.
So my question would be, when you got the information that somebody from the city had came by in reference to the trees needing a permit prior to being removed, did you try to reach back out?
I
to them?
called Charlie and I asked him about it, and he said, don't worry about it. The arborist report supersedes the need for any of these other things. And I actually went there in person and had the conversation with him and another gentleman. I promise you I would not have done this if Charlie had given me other information.
Anything further, Ms. Bass?
No, we'll leave it at your discretion, Your Honor. No, not at this time, Your Honor. We'll leave the ruling at your discretion, Your Honor. It was prior, we had testimony from our inspector, from our landscaping inspector, and also, according to the email, that this was prior to them being removed, correct?
Well, when you're talking about when the gentleman talked to my painter,
Yes.
I do believe so. I can't swear to it, but I'm pretty sure you're right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I actually have a question. Did you, when you either met, or well, I guess met, because it wouldn't be speaking over the phone, did you provide photos to the city of where the trees were located?
The very first time I talked to Charlie, he said, could I give him like 20 minutes, and he'd call me back, and he went onto Google Earth and he looked him up, and he told me the breed of tree or the species of tree and everything. He was a very nice guy. And he said he had everything he needed. I actually have pictures from when the trees were taken down that you can see they're infested with the termites and how they're rotted. And these were not healthy trees.
Do you know the date that your trees were removed?
I could certainly find out, but
So according to our photos, it was on the 21st, and the email.
yeah, when the officer was there, they were in process. That was that week they came down.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So the email from Charlie, that we got from Charlie, it was the 19th when he said that your arborist did not realize that they were on the city right of way. So that would
That's-
have been prior to the trees being removed.
They'd already started, like by the time, she wasn't there the day it began, it was already, they were well underway. It was a multi-day process. I mean, if you look at the picture, I think there's only one left at that point. There was three. And yeah, and no one ever said a word about right of way until well afterwards. I think when the officer came by, I don't recall if you and I talked about it or not. I guess we must have. But at that point, you said it was too late and they'd already started.
Well, he's correct. On the 20th is when I came by. And in that picture, as you can see, there was only one tree left. And I brought that back to the attention. I brought it over to landscaping, and they said that tree is gone. It's I forget the exact terminology that they use, but they said that tree's not coming back at that point. And it was kind of useless to say stop right there. So he removed the rest of it.
Right.
So that is correct.
Anything else, Ms. Montoya?
No, thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Sir, based on the information you received from the city and the instructions, I'm going to go ahead and sustain your appeal. There'll be no fine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good day. I'm sorry, do we need to do anything at this point, or
I'm sorry.
do we do anything else at this point?
You'll get a written order in the mail. You'll get it in the mail.
Thank you very much.
Our next case is on page 44. Inspector Darren Emmons, Supervisor Reggie White presenting case number CE 211-10541, case address 1105 Avocado Isle. Owners William and Gloria Mueller Revocable Trust. This case was first heard on 4/28/22 to comply by 5/12/22. One section not complied at $25 per day. $850 has accrued, and this is a request for an extension.
Reggie White, Code Compliance Supervisor for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 21-10541 for Inspector Darren Emmons. The violation still exists of 8-91E. The boat, vessels, and watercraft is moored to a structure more than 30% of the width of the canal or waterway measuring from the recorded property line. The boat in the canal behind this property is extending more than 30% of the width of the canal. On 4/28, the Special Magistrate Flynn found for the city and gave the property owner 14 days to comply. As of this day, the property is still in violation. Because this is actually blocking the waterway, according to our last inspection, the city does not want to recommend granting an extension. This could be a problem for the community and for other boat owners if they're trying to navigate their boats. That's our recommendation.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
Good morning. My name is William Mueller.
All right, what would you like to add?
Well, I'm having mechanical problems with the boat, and I'm requesting an extension.
How much of a time of an extension are you requesting?
I mean, I need 60 days.
I'm sorry.
I need 60 days.
Okay.
I mean, if I can get anything.
If we can get the boat removed in 63 days, Magistrate, I'm not opposed to that extension.
Okay. I'm going to grant your request for a 63-day extension, and I'm going to stay the fines as of this date. Okay? You'll get a written order in the mail, but the fines are stayed, and you've got a 63-day extension to comply.
Okay,
Thank
you.
Our next case is on page 14. Inspector Darren Emmons, Supervisor Reggie White presenting. Case number CE 211-10448, case address 2629 Southwest 8th Street. Owner Carolyn Kendrick and Christopher Blackman. Property posted 5/16/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Good morning, Reggie White, Code Compliance Supervisor for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case 21-11-0448 for Inspector Darren Emmons. This property was initially inspected on November 16, 2021 by the previous inspector, and the following violations were observed. 9-308B, there's debris, trash, or another element which is not permanent on the roof. There are 2 blue tarps, pieces of plywood, sandbags, and other pieces of wood on this roof. A notice of hearing was posted on the property May 16, 2022. A pre-hearing inspection was done on June 5th, 2022. The violations remain as depicted. A request of 63 days to comply or $25 a day should be imposed. So the city is requesting 63 days to come into compliance or a fine of $25 per day. I do want to mention that the property owner did reach out to the city, and they do intend to come into compliance. They're just waiting on some funds right now, but they do intend to comply.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Christopher Blackman.
Anything you'd like to add?
Yes, I'm waiting on the insurance to cut the check to fix the roof. I have it here. But that's all. And I removed the wood off the roof. And I have sandbags now.
Somebody working on this for you.
No, I'm waiting on the insurance for the check to fix the roof. So I cover it with tarps. And I had wood on there. So as of today, I removed the wood. I have sandbags on top to hold the tarp. So I'm waiting on the insurance, like I said.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to find that the violation does exist, 63 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter. Thank you.
Our next case is on page 42. Inspector Boverick Xantis, Supervisor Julio Davila presenting case number CE 22020917, case address 1614 Northwest 11th Terrace, owners Karen and Sharon Cook. This case was first heard on 4/28/22 to comply by 6/2/22. 5 sections not complied at $25 per day. $1,375 has accrued, and this is a request for an extension.
Good morning again. Supervisor Julio Davila, City of Fort Lauderdale, Co-Compliance, on behalf of Co-Compliance Officer Boverick Xantis for case number and address is read. This case was first heard on April 28, 2022, and the magistrate ruled in favor of the city, and the property owner was ordered 35 days to correct the violations at this property. On June 2nd, an inspection revealed that the property is not in compliance, in fully compliance at this time, and the property owner is here to request an extension.
All right, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
Good morning. My name is Karen Cook.
All right, ma'am, you're requesting an extension of time. How much extension are you requesting?
If I could get 60 more days. I'm an educator, and we get paid every 2 weeks, and I was trying to get this done in
Sorry,
compliance.
how many days?
Could I get 90? Is that too much?
Well, what are you doing to correct these violations? I see some of them have been corrected.
Yes, I've got to get the driveway paved, and the trim, there's a board missing on the trim of the roof there, and the rock paved way driveway, and he mentioned something about a fascia. I've attempted to get some of these done, but getting them all done at one time has been a bit difficult for me, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, ma'am. I'm going to grant you a 91-day extension. That's a long time. Get all of these violations taken care of within 90 days. I'm going to stay the fines as of this date, but that's a very generous extension.
Yes,
All right.
it is, Your
All
Honor.
these things resolved.
Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 11. Inspector Gustavo Caracas. Case number CE 22020957. Case address 430 North Andrews Avenue. Owner 430 North Andrews LLC. Property posted 5/21/22. Posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Caracas for the City of Fort Lauderdale, Compliance Inspector, presenting case number CE 22020957 for the property located at 430 North Andrews Avenue. Inspection of the property was performed on February 25th, 2022, and cited for the following violation. 47-19.4.D.1. There is a bulk container stored at the back rear of the above property without having a dumpster enclosure. This commercial property is not providing an on-site enclosure for the bulk container waste receptacles as required. Courtesy notice was mailed to the property owner listed on BCPA on February 25th of 2022, allowing 30 days to come into compliance. Contact was recently made with the property owner. Special magistrate request form sent on March 24th of this year and scheduled for today's special master. A pre-hearing inspection was done on June 9th, and the pictures presented here were taken to confirm the violations still exist. The city is requesting the following, Your Honor. 63 days to come into compliance or a daily fine of $100 for the violation that exists. Photos submitted into record for evidence, and the owner of the business and the property is here with us today, sir.
I'm sorry. The proposed fine,
We're asking 63 days to come into compliance or a $100 fine for the violation that exists.
I'm sorry, I'm still missing, how many dollars? Or $100. All right, sir, if you'll state your name, please.
That's Robert A. Murphy.
Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just want to say, I want to thank Gustavo. He's worked with me quite a lot. Those pictures I have changed it. It's all been cleaned up. That dumpster is all the way back in behind the building. I've brought pictures to show that. And I think I'm in compliance. I found a section under dumpsters. It says that on site where the container cannot be seen off site at a height of 5 feet above existing grade at any property line of the site, no enclosure shall be required. So I've got it out of the line of the site from the road, no matter what direction. I've got northwest, southwest, and west pictures of the building. I've got it right up against the back door there to where it's not visible. I'll have to roll it out for the dumpster people though, which is no problem.
I'll have to take a look at that, Your Honor. That was actually, my inspection was done last week, on Thursday of last week. He actually mentioned that he actually did comply yesterday. I haven't had a chance to go out there, but I will definitely have, take a look at the compliance. But we still want to give him the 65 days just in case, sir.
Would you like to look at these, Gustavo? Yeah. You can keep those if you want.
Special Magistrate Julio Davila again, co-compliance supervisor. Sir, is this the same dumpster that was there previously? It's a
Yes.
6-yard dumpster?
Yes.
I believe there is an exemption for certain dumpsters to be without an enclosure, but there's a limit as to the size of that container needs to be. I don't believe this applies to 6-yard dumpsters. It only applies to 2-yard containers, such as, I'm looking at your picture right now, and in this image, you see the adjacent property right across from you. He has a smaller dumpster.
Right.
So that dumpster is allowed without an enclosure. So you would either have to create an enclosure for the existing dumpster or try to get a smaller container such as the one that your neighbor has to be able to just keep it back there.
Okay. Would chain link be all right?
I'm sorry?
Chain link is okay? chain link?
Whatever it is, you would have to go through the permitting process to obtain the enclosure and whatever the requirements of that, the construction requirements of that enclosure are. That's what the requirements will be.
All right, I'll do that. I think I can get that done in
It's either one or the
63.
other. I mean, it's up to you. You know, if you can afford to go into the smaller container, you can just have it behind the building. It'll be quicker, and then just maybe have more frequent pickups.
Okay,
Or you can go to the expense of, creating, building, constructing that enclosure through the permitting process.
okay, I will have either a smaller dumpster or at least a permit application inside by that time, hopefully completed by that time.
All right. Can we keep these pictures
Yeah,
for evidence? You have your own copy?
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Gustavo.
Okay, well, in these photographs, it's rolled up to the back door. Okay, but in the one on the screen, it's not rolled up to the back door.
Plus, there's a lot of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but plus there's a lot of other debris Gustavo wanted me to clean up, which I did.
Dumpsters.
Yeah.
Right here, Your Honor, in one of the pictures that the gentleman has on this picture right here.
If you'll see Special Magistrate where there's the gentleman's,
The gentleman next door has a 2-yarder. The 2-yarder does not require to have an enclosure. Anything above 2 yards requires to have an enclosure. So we're giving him the two options, either make the enclosure or go to a 2-yarder, a smaller one.
All right, I've got it. I follow you. Okay, thank you. Okay, for the record, I find the violation does exist, 63 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Your Honor. Thank you.
Our next case is on page 15. Inspector Darren Emmons, Supervisor Reggie White presenting, case number CE 22030382, case address 537 Southwest 22nd Avenue, owner Robert G. Burgess, property posted 5/16/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Reggie White, Code Compliance Supervisor for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22030382 for Inspector Darren Emmons. The property at 537 Southwest 22nd Avenue was initially inspected on March 9, 2022, and the following violations were observed. 9-305B, the landscape at the property is not being maintained in neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. The section 9-304B is complied. Notice of hearing was posted on the property May 16, 2022, and a pre-hearing inspection was done on June 5, 2022, where the violations that are depicted remain. The city is requesting 63 days to come into compliance or a fine of $25 per day thereafter. I spoke to the property owner. He expressed to me his intentions to comply within 63 days.
All right, sir, is that correct, that your understanding you can get this done within 63 days?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
And state your name for the record.
Robert Burgess.
Okay, sir. For the record, I'm going to find the violation does exist, 63 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
Our next case is on page 10. Our next case is on page 10. Inspector Boverick Xantis, Supervisor Julio Davila presenting, case number CE 21071049. I'm sorry, he stepped out. So our next case is on page 36. Inspector Bernstein Sandberg, case number CE 22010457, Case address 120 Northwest 16th Street. Owner Northwest 16th Street Land Trust Number 120, Florida Trust Services LLC trustee. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 5/10/22. 7 sections not complied at $100 per day. $23,800 is accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
Good morning, Your Honor. Bernstein, Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale, Community Enhancement. Case number CE 2201-0457, property address 120 Northwest 16th Street. This property was inspected on January 19, 2022, cited for the following violations. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on property in or swell. 9-3058, there is landscape material along accumulation of leaves encroaching upon the public right-of-way along Northwest 16th Street and Northwest 2nd Ave. 9-305B, landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead or missing ground cover, including the swell. 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. Structural parts, including fascia, soffits, are in disrepair. There are areas of the exterior that have cracks, stains, and peeling paints. 9-308B, there is debris, blue tarp, and or another element which is not permitted on the roof. 9-280H1, the fence at this property is stained, missing slats. The fence is not being maintained as required. 4734.1.8.1 is complied. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violation is depicted. The city is requesting full amount. I have spoken to the owner yesterday regarding what he needs to do to come into compliance. He explained to me he has some issue with permitting before he can start on the some of the exterior part of the building, so he's here to tell his side of the story.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jose.
Okay, tell me what you're doing to clean this up.
Well, we cleaned pretty much. I met the inspector yesterday. We cleaned the property up. I would say about 9% of it was cleaned up. That's the updated pictures that he was mentioning prior. And since November, I just found out, was it about a week or so ago, of the hearings that I didn't attend. That's the reason why it never showed prior to today. And since November, we've been working with the city to take out permits, which they haven't yet provided. That's the reason why you see a lot of debris around the property, which hasn't been cleaned up. And on top of that, we had a lot of illegal dumping in the property, which at the time we still are cleaning up. And pretty much we've taken care of.
What are you trying to do with this property?
Renovating it.
I know, but you're going to leave it vacant, knock it down?
No, the property overall is renovated inside the property, but we can't touch the outside. The city's not allowing us to do anything whatsoever, not even stucco the property. That's why you got the tear and paint and everything throughout the property until permits are issued. And we've been working on that since November. So it's a matter of, I'm just requesting at this point in time, two things. One, a 60-day extension until they provide the permits so we could complete the project and get everything organized. And if possible, any liens or any fines per diem to be stopped until they release the permit so we could complete the property.
Your Honor.
Yes.
There is multiple permits pending on the property, so he hasn't received any permits yet, but they are pending. I'm not sure what's going on, but they are pending.
Your Honor, I think it should be noted, Your Honor.
Yes.
I think Rana Montoya Hassan with the City Attorney's Office. I think it should be noted, though, that many of these items are maintenance-type issues that clearly do not require a permit. Most don't require a permit.
Yes, whatever doesn't require a permit was for the most part addressed. And we're going to have a landscaping gentleman to cut the, the trees or whatever needs to get cut down by Thursday to get updated. But like I said, the reason why I haven't been here is because I wasn't notified until about late last week in regards to the issue.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
my apologies. Katrina Johnson Jordan, Administrative Supervisor for the City of Fort Lauderdale. I was checking the permit history on the property, and the permits that were submitted back in November have been voided. The most recent permits are saying that they are awaiting the client reply or are just basically given to the city in April. So any permit issues from November, those have been voided.
Correct. The reason why they've been voided is because we were doing it online, and it became a hard process for us to do so. So what
I was just giving the magistrate the
I'm sorry.
information, that's all.
So yeah, it was an issue. So we just decided to take it in personally. So that's why they voided the online portion of it.
And again, just for clarification, what Ms. Jordan said is the permits that were submitted in April are waiting client reply, which means the property owner needs to come and pick up, or representative needs to come and pick up the plans and correct the deficiencies that were noted by the city.
May I?
City's request still to impose the fines?
Repeat that again, Your Honor.
Does the city's request remain the same?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to grant the city's request and impose the fines. They'll continue to accrue. We'll stand in recess for 5 minutes. Oh,
We're standing in recess for 5 minutes.
okay. Yeah. Lowen, what is that clicking noise? It's the door.
Lenny.
How's the door doing? Is this place haunted? No. You never know.
We will now resume this morning's special magistrate hearing. Our next case is on page 10. Inspector Bovrig Xantis, Supervisor Davila presenting. Case number CE 21071049. Case address 2110 Northwest 9th Avenue. Owner Mills Pond Property Holdings LLC. Certified mail was given to this property on May 21st, 2022, and posted at City Hall on May 31st, 2022.
Just grant me 1 second, please. All right, thank you for that. Supervisor Julio Davila presenting the aforementioned case on behalf of Co-Compliance Officer Bovry Xantis. This case was actually first inspected on July 27th of 2021, where the following violation was observed. 18-12A. There is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and or its swale. This, in essence, is a vacant lot where the property owners went in and tried to remove some of the vegetation from the property. And it ended up being a wetland area with mangroves. And it ended up also being a case with the county, which is currently with the county, with mitigation required for those mangroves which were removed. So as it stands right now, there is a pile of debris that is sitting on this vacant lot that we've received a lot of concerns from the neighborhood, from the homeowners associations, and so on. The property owner has been trying to find a way to have this resolved, but as of yet, that has not happened. There is somebody that's, and you'll hear from, from the owner's representative in a minute, but they're trying to sell the property, and this new owner is going to be eventually developing it. However, while we want all of it, the entire property cleared, what we want immediately or the more pressing matter is for that debris to be removed. And we'd like that to happen within, I believe it is 63 days, or a fine of $100 per day if not complied.
Your photographs?
I am sorry, 1 second, please. I do not have photographs in the file at the moment. I mean, I do have some that I can present to you digitally from the case file. 1 second, but not through the screens here. And I have been having some technical difficulties, so bear with me, please, and thank you for your patience.
Your Honor, we will recall this case and give him a moment to find the pictures. My apologies. We just want him to be able to, he has to present all of the evidence.
Okay.
So if you would just give us a minute or so he can find the pictures, and we'll call you right back up. I apologize.
Okay.
Our next case is on page 12. Inspector Bernstein Sandberg, case number CE 22030074. Case address 1137 Northeast 16th Avenue, numbers 1 and 2. Owner Evelyn C. Suit Living Trust, Kevin Hall, trustee. Property posted 5/23/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Bernstein Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number CE 22030074, property address 1137 Northeast 16th Ave. This property was inspected on March 2nd, 2022, cited for the following violation. 9-305B complied. 9-304B, the gravel driveway is not being maintained. It is not well graded. There is grass and weed growing through it. Due to noncompliance on April 4th, 2022, notice of hearing was posted on the property. A pre-hearing inspections revealed the following violation is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violation as depicted. The city is requesting 56 days to comply or a fine of $25 per day per violation.
Okay, sir, if you will speak right to the microphone and state your name, please.
Kevin Hall.
You understand what this gentleman said? You understand what he said?
Yes, sir.
Do you disagree with anything he said?
I don't.
is anything you want to add at all?
Well, the inspector's a gentleman and very nice. But I just, as I explained to him.
I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty understanding you through your mask.
The inspector is a gentleman and very nice. As I explained to him, my undergrad's in civil engineering. I'm a lead certified developer and I'm a member of the Green Building Council. We're doing something with the property, but I don't understand the concern. But I agreed to do something to make the city okay. But the city, I do believe the city needs to reevaluate some of their policies, especially when it comes to grass growing through gravel in a driveway. I mean, we build properties now with brick pavers with grass growing through them. This is environmentally friendly and it's a lead, but I'm not here to debate that or argue it. So I agreed that I will do something with the driveway in the interim.
All right, sir, for the record, I'm going to find the violation does exist, 56 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter. If you don't understand the nature of the violation, this gentleman...
No, I understand the nature of the violation, sir, but I just think that the city is behind the times when it comes to environmental friendly development and sustainable development.
I was making my ruling. I'm going to continue making my ruling, okay? And find the violation does exist, 56 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter. If you don't understand the nature of the violation, you can discuss it with this gentleman, and he'll tell you what needs to be done to come into compliance. Okay. Thank you.
I apologize for interrupting.
Our next case is on page 6. Inspector Malika Murray. Case number CE 22020170, case address 3880 North Federal Highway. Owner, Chest LLC, in care of Stan Court Meeting Investors LLC. Mortgage Investors LLC. Personal service was given to this property on May 23rd, 22, and posted at City Hall on May 31st, 2022.
Good morning, Mr. Magistrate. Shane Chernoff on behalf of the tenant mattress firm.
Inspector Murray, for the city of Fort Lauderdale, case number is CE 22020170. Let's see here. The address is 3880 North Federal Highway. I first inspected this commercial property that is zoned as a B1 Boulevard business known as Mattress Firm on February the 6th, 2022. Following a complaint that was received, the following city code violations were found and cited. 9-308A, there are multiple broken and missing roof tiles along the rear of the property that are in disrepair and indicating that the roof is not weather tight. The next violation would be 9-306. The exterior building walls have not been maintained. There are areas of the exterior walls along the rear of the property that are missing or having peeling paint, including but not limited to the rear of the building. Originally, when the property was cited, it also had overgrowth, which has now been brought into compliance. The next violation would be for 47-20.20H. There are parking facilities that are not being maintained at this property. There are cracks and breaks in the off-street parking area along with missing parking lines. Posting as well as mailing of the legal documents has been done as per departmental protocol. This case was scheduled for a special magistrate hearing on May the 8th, 2022. There have been conversations with representation of Mattress Firm's management about the violations cited, and during these conversations, the status of the violations as well as corrective actions for resolutions were discussed. BCPA records reveal no change of ownership since May the 30th of 2002. During a pre-hearing inspection on Sunday, June the 12th, 2020, I found that the violations do remain as depicted in the pictures.
Yeah, Judge, we're not going to dispute that these things aren't in compliance. The only thing that I would request is just given the labor-intensive nature of what we have to do, that we would get 120 days. I mean, for example, exterior painting, that can probably be done pretty quickly. As far as the roofing goes, we need to get the tech to remove the damaged shingles, clean up the area, remove the damaged materials. The parking lot's obviously going to be a big undertaking. We need to install 11,000 square feet of asphalt at a compacted depth of 1 inch, and make sure that it complies with FDOT. We've got to lay out a new parking lot, and then we've just got to haul away the debris. So given what's involved in this, I understand that 120 is extraordinary in the context of like a private property owner, residential, but given that this is commercial and given what it's involving, I would like to request 120 days.
I'm sorry, what was the city's request again?
The city was originally requesting 35 days, but we would go as high as 63 days to ensure that we keep them on target as far as bringing the property into compliance. And that would be 63 days to bring the property into compliance and $50 per day to begin to accrue after each of the
Okay, and I'm sorry, the dollar amount was?
50
okay.
per violation.
Right. Ms. Bass, did you want to add anything?
Yes, I'm sorry, Your Honors. Stephanie Bass for the City of Fort Lauderdale. In lieu of the additional permitting that has to take place, we will ask for an order to reappear. So if we do 63 days, we would like them to reappear to see where we're at in the permitting process in order for them to come into compliance, Your Honor.
Okay, so.
Judge, can we?
Agenda August 9th, it was 56 days, is that,
Okay, so your next hearing, you're correct, is on the 9th, Your Honor? So yes, 56 days and reappearance on the August 9th agenda to see where we're at in the permitting process.
okay, let's do that. Let's do 56 days, mandatory reappearance on August 9th. Find the violations do exist, $50 per day thereafter. Thank you, Counselor.
Okay, well, just to clarify your ruling, if we reappear, we obviously don't waive our ability to request more time.
Absolutely not.
From there, okay.
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Mr. Magistrate.
See some progress.
Julio, are you ready? Our next cases begin on page 13. Well, I need another paper. I'm sorry, Attorney Crush has not arrived as of yet.
I'm sorry, 2, 3.
Our next case is on page 6.
6.
Again, Inspector Murray. Case number CE 22020738. Case address 4501 North Federal Highway. Owner Bernstein's Real Estate, Inc. In care Federated Department Stores Tax Department. Property posted 5/23/22. Posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Once again, Inspector Murray for the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance. The case number is CE 22020738. The case address is at 4501 North Federal Highway. I first inspected this commercial property that is zoned as a B1 Boulevard business known as Macy's on February the 22nd, 2022, following a complaint that was received. The following violations were found and cited. Violations for 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. There are exterior blemishes that indicate that vines are growing on the building, as well as stains and damages to the paint. The next violation would be 9-304A. There are broken wheel stops that are not properly aligned, as well as there are cracks and breaks in the pavement of the off-street parking area, which has become unsightly and faded. Posting, mailing of legal documents has been done as per departmental protocol. This case was scheduled for a special magistrate hearing on May the 8th, 2022. There were conversations by phone and in person with Macy's management as well as employees about the violations cited. During the conversations, the status of the violation and corrective actions for resolution were discussed. BCPA records indicate that ownership has not changed since July 29th, 1988. A pre-hearing inspection performed on Sunday, June the 12th, found that the violations remain as depicted in the pictures. The city is recommending 35 days to come into compliance or $100 per day to begin to accrue for each violation thereafter.
I'm sorry, how many days?
35 days, sir.
All right. Okay, sir. Speak right to the microphone and state your name, please.
Yeah, hi, my name is Tom Stevens, and I'm with Macy's. And I would ask for more than 35 days. The paving is going to be a permit issue. And as I'm hearing from other people here today and my experience in the past, permits take time. So I would ask that we be granted 60 days.
Special magistrate, we have no problem allowing a notice to reappear for 56 days.
I'm sorry, say again.
We have no objection to a notice to reappear in 56 days.
Okay. I find the violation does exist. 56 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter. And an order to reappear on August the 9th.
Thank you.
At the 56 days, if we have part of this done, but we're still in permitting for the paving.
That's why we're coming back. We want to see what your status is and if that's enough time or not enough time to get, the project done.
Understood. Thank you. And thank you.
No problem.
So we're recalling the case on page 10 with Supervisor Davila. Case number CE 21071049.
Right. Thank you. So I'm going to be bringing up the photograph that I have for you. It is a photograph that best depicts the debris that is on site currently. I did recently meet with the potential buyer of the property on site and witnessed as well that this violation is still remaining. And I've been speaking with the property representative before the hearing today, and we've also met via Zoom with all the parties involved. So I'm going to be bringing this up to you.
Can you show that to the property owner first, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can't put it up there?
No, this is the picture that I showed during our Zoom call.
Yes.
That currently exists there.
Perfect.
Let's see what we have. Okay, so we got a lot of overgrowth and then piles of, cut down trees, trimmings, whatever else?
Okay, so that's all the vegetation that they initially tried to, when they were trying to completely dredge the lot, I believe she can specify as to what their initial intent was. But that precipitated in the county case and the subsequent city cases against the property.
All right, so what's the city's recommendation?
So we would like 63 days for the pile to be at least removed and $100 per day thereafter.
Okay. All right, ma'am. State your name for the record. And let's see what we can do to sort this out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Nemia Schulte, on behalf of the, my client is the owner, Mills Pond Property Holdings LLC. Sir, just to give you a quick background, we have diligently worked not only with the county, but also with the city with respect to this issue. This case went all the way up to appeals, and we have finally agreed to settle this case with the county. During all of this time, the city stepped in and said, hey, there's some violations. We said, we know, we're working on that with the county. We're aware of it, but nothing was done while the appeals process was going. So I just want to give you a background that there has been a lot of involvement here with not just the city, but also with the county. We have met with the county, with the city several times trying to resolve this. As the city knows, we are currently under contract with a buyer who is trying to build on this property. The buyer is having issues with the city for zoning, which we were supposed to close several months ago, but the city has put some issues with the buyer with respect to rezoning. So we have so many plates spinning on this. But let me get to the point. What we have there is basically overgrowth, and we understand that the city has had complaints. We have checked to see how much it would cost to remove this. We were all at shock at how much it was going to remove this, which the buyer is planning on doing once they get their zoning taken care of. What we then recommend after we found out how much it was going to cost is if we could put a construction fence around the entire property. That way it looks like we're blocking it from the city. We don't have a lot of, the visual effects, because my understanding is that the complaint to the city is the eyesore effect. And which I understand, it is an eyesore. There is no doubt about that. So what we had suggested is, can we put a fence around it? Because here's the thing, if we take it off, or if we remove that portion of the debris, it is vacant land. All it's going to do is just keep growing and growing and growing, which, remember, we are going to have this property developed, but we're waiting for the city to agree to certain changes in the zoning. And they anticipate that's going to take about 6 months to do. So for right now, let's cover it with a construction fence. We'll be willing to do that. It'll help resolve all these issues. And that's what I'm hoping we can do, is to do that. And I'm seeing shaking of the heads.
No, I'm just
Yeah, Your Honor, if I could, this isn't really that complicated, right? Property owners have to maintain their property. They have to maintain their property free of overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris. Irrespective of plate spinning, appeals, rezoning, buyers, or whatever. It's incumbent upon the property owner to keep their property tidy and not an eyesore. So I would support the recommendation of the city, whether it's going to be sold or developed in 6 months, a year, 90 days, 10 years is irrelevant to this violation.
And if I may just add to that, whether or not it will be developed, it will be, the purchase will be completed, and all of that is really up in the air. There are no guarantees. What is a guarantee is that the residents and the neighboring properties and the association has had to look at this since 2021, as you saw in the photos. Yes, we cannot force them to completely cut all that overgrowth anyways, although we may require some of it to be fixed because some of them are mangroves. However, the debris needs to go, and that's mainly what we're asking for the immediate future. And then we will see as to the rest of the property as that process gets closer to a guarantee of, a sale or a development.
Okay, after all of this, the rule is pretty simple. I'm going to find the violation does exist, 63 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Your Honor, is there,
Ma'am?
Okay, got it.
We're not gonna have a magic wand to wave to
Got
make
it, sir.
all of this go away. And I fully suspect I'm gonna see you again with a motion to extend or stay or whatever. But we gotta let some things play out here.
I understand it, and just so that,
And we've gotta have a deadline to work toward.
and just so that we're clear that what we're talking, Julio, and that way we're all on the same page, it's just the clearing of that pile up, not the entire lot. Is that correct, sir?
That is the minimum we were asking for
Okay.
within the 63 days.
And then also the front portion of the swale to be mowed down.
Well, that has been maintained as
Already.
per requirement already, so
Okay.
you've all been keeping up with that already, so.
Okay, so 63 days to remove the pileup. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're not completely clearing the entire 3 acres of lot, just that area.
Not at this time, no.
Okay, sir.
That's all we're asking for.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Our next cases will begin on page 13 with Inspector Bernstein Sandberg. Our first case is case number CE 22040298, case address 239 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, owner 237 South Fort Lauderdale Beach LLC, property posted 5/23/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Bernstein Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case CE 2204-0298, property address 239 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. This property was inspected on April 7th, 2022, and cited for the following violations. 651-1, there is artificial lights that is illuminating the incorporated beaches of Fort Lauderdale. There is a menu sign with lights, TVs, and exterior yellow lights illuminating the beach. Due to noncompliance on May 24th, 2022, the notice of hearing was posted on the property. A pre-hearing inspection revealed the following violation is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that shows violation as depicted. The city is requesting 10 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day per violation. For the record, per section 653, if the magistrate finds the violation exists and is entered against the violator, the enforcing agency shall notify the violator in writing that any external light sources causing the violation may be removed by the city within 10 business days thereafter, or the fine may be assessed against the violator, with said fine to begin to assess within 10 business days thereafter, and to be continuously assessed until the conclusion of the nesting season, which is August 31, or until the violation is corrected. Any costs that are associated with the removal by the city of external lighting sources shall be recovered from the person or persons causing the violation, and if not recovered, a lien shall be placed against the property and reimbursed to the city at the time of the sale of the property. I have met with the property management or the owner of the property. They are working to get into compliance, and go ahead.
Okay, there's actually 4 cases here.
Yes, they're all the same. Well,
They're all for separate addresses.
Except how many?
Different addresses.
You're presing 3 of them?
Okay, and the city's.
And different owners.
And the city's recommendation again is,
10 days, $50 per day.
or how much?
50.
Okay. All right, good morning. State your name for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Lauren Pleffner, law clerk with Crush Law, here on behalf of the property owner. We would absolutely thank you for the 10 days, and the property owner is continuing to work with the inspector for compliance.
Okay. we want to agree to the same ruling on each case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I find that each violation does exist, 10 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
They're not all, I have to read them all in.
They're separate cases.
Yeah, they're separate cases, Your Honor, with slightly different addresses and slightly different owners. So
Oh, okay, all
Jordan will
right,
need to read those in separately for
all right, okay, so we go one by one,
Yes, sir, please.
get by the numbers.
Our next case is case number CE 2204030, case address 233 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, owner 235 South Fort Lauderdale Beach LLC, property posted 52322, posted at City Hall 53122.
Bernstein, Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number and property address as read. Property was inspected on April 7th, 2022, cited for the following violations: 651-1. There is artificial light that is illuminating the incorporated beaches of Fort Lauderdale. There are windows, signage, and exterior light that have non-shielded and or amber light can be seen on the beach. There is two businesses under. Is this 233 South Fort Lauderdale or?
Yes, this is 233 South Fort
Okay.
Lauderdale Beach.
There is two businesses under this parcel. Both business lights are illuminating the beach. Due to noncompliance, May 24th, 2022, notice of hearing was posted on the property. A pre-hearing inspection revealed the following violation stated is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violation as depicted. The city is requesting 10 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day per violation be imposed thereafter.
Anything further, Counselor, on this case?
We would appreciate the 10 days, Your Honor.
Very good. I find the violation does exist, 10 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Our next case is CE 220400301, case address 225 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, owner L&A Beach Holdings LLC, property posted 52522, posted at City Hall 53122.
Bernstein, Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number and property address as read. Property was inspected on April 7th, 2022, cited for the following violations. There is artificial lights that is illuminating the incorporated beaches of Fort Lauderdale. There is a menu sign with lights, TVs, and exterior red floodlights illuminating the beach. Due to noncompliance on May 24th, 2022, the notice of hearing was posted on the property. A pre-hearing inspection revealed the following violation is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that shows violation as depicted. The city is requesting 10 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day per violation.
All right. Anything further on this property?
We would appreciate the 10 days, Your Honor.
I find the violation does exist, 10 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Our next case is case number CE 220400543, case address 203 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, owner TRD of Fort Lauderdale LLC, property posted 52322, posted at City Hall 53122.
Bernstein, Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number and address as read. Property was inspected on April 14, 2022, cited for the following violations: 651-1. There is artificial light that is illuminating the incorporated beaches of Fort Lauderdale. There are windows and signage that have non-shielded and or amber lights. Due to noncompliance on May 24th, 2022, notice of hearing was posted on the property. A pre-hearing inspection revealed the following violations is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that shows violation as depicted. City is requesting 10 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day per violation.
Anything further, Counselor?
We would appreciate the 10 days, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to find the violation exists. 10 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck. Thank you.
Our next case is on page 33 with Inspector Gustavo Caracas. Case number CE 220100458. Case address 441 Northeast 3rd Avenue. Owners URBN Flagler LLC. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 5/10/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. $1,700 accrued. The city is requesting full amount fines continue to accrue.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Caracas from behalf of the city. Case and address number as read on record. As previously said, this case came before Special Master on April 12th of 2022, where evidence was presented to the magistrate and found for the city. These violations were first cited on January 19th of 2022, and so far a total of 10 inspections have been done to the property. And as of today, sir, the case is not in compliance. The representative for the property owner is here with us, and she would like to speak.
Good morning again, Your Honor. Lauren Pleffner, law
Yeah,
clerk.
okay, I recall this case. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Law clerk on behalf of, here with Crush Law on behalf of URBN Flagler LLC, the property owner. On May 27th, the property owner submitted a DRC application to the planning department, which is required for the signs that are on the property as of right now. Once that process goes through DRC, it will also have to be seen by the Historic Preservation Board and approved as well. And as the church's facade is historic. So that process will take, we're estimating probably over 90 days. And we would actually request, if possible, 90 days to report back that we've met with HPB, DRC, and got those approvals which are necessary for us to move forward into permitting.
Okay, so
Special Magistrate, Julio Davila, Co-Compliance Supervisor. Well, I'm not opposed to, going through a process and doing the due diligence for obtaining a legal sign. The only part that I'm kind of questioning here is why can't these signs just be removed? As you see on the screen, these banner signs that's hoisted up there, and all that needs to be done in order to obtain compliance is just remove some of these, obtain your permit through the DRC or the approval, and then go ahead and put them back up.
If I may, Your Honor. So the banner signs are actually, the reason we have to go through DRC process as opposed to the permitting is based on the code. So the code does not specifically call out these particular banner signs. So that's why we have to go through the DRC process. And I think the removal of the signs, it's safety of the structure around it, rather than pulling those signs off and then reestablishing them into the facade. So that's the only reason that instead of permitting, we would go to DRC process and those things.
Let me understand this correctly, there's a safety issue or a concern of damaging the structure for the removal of canvas sign? I'm not asking for this structure itself or the poles that it's attached to be removed, just the canvas, the sign itself.
Understood, and I think Courtney Crush also on behalf of the property owner, Your Honor. And if I may respond to Supervisor Davila, I don't know that anybody objects to the signs. It just turns out, so this is part of a master site plan, as you probably know, for the entire block. Great care was taken to restore the existing church. Restaurant is, obviously would like signage for its businesses, especially, as you start as a new restaurant. And in talking to staff, the historic preservation coordinator, the zoning administrator, it took a while. I think these signs are welcomed. So I'm not sure if they're not creating a nuisance. While it did take some time to establish a process and get the support of staff to go through it, I don't know that the greater good is served by removing them.
I'm just seeing this as, it's also, by going through this process, it also means, additional hearings and additional staff time being put into this for something that just can easily be resolved. So There are other types of signs that the business may advertise legally or, temporarily. While you go through that process, I would just like to see the signs removed and just close this case out. Get your approval and then put them up legally, however you like to. The issue isn't whether or not it's an eyesore or not. The issue is whether it's allowed or not, and it's currently not allowed as it is unpermitted. So I think it benefits everybody's time to not to have to come back to another hearing, present photos for something that just can be so easily resolved.
And if I may, yes, we could put the typical grand opening sign up. I know that was explored for 10 days. This is a special piece of property, and that's why designing something very tasteful that we think will be acceptable to DRC and the Historic Preservation Board was done. Again, we will diligently pursue it now that we have a path, but creating more visual clutter in the meantime, just because because those signs are permitted. Again, and I'm not trying to be less than respectful of staff time. If you would like us to ask Your Honor for a longer extension so that we don't have to come back, again, I'm trying to just solve the problem.
I think it's just the easier solution is just to have the signs removed and find something temporarily so we can close this case out, come to a resolution. And then, as soon as they get their approval for to have the signs up legally, then by all means.
All right, so how many days do we need?
We need 90 days, Your Honor. 90 days. We have to go to a development review committee and a hearing in front of the Historic Preservation Board.
Okay, I'm going to grant a 91-day extension and stay the fines as of this date.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 26. Inspector Pat Gavin. Case number CE 22031206, case address 3057 Southwest 2nd Street, owner FKH SFRC1 LP, in care of First Key Homes LLC. Personal service was given to this property on May 24, 2022, and posted at City Hall on 5/31/2022.
I'm sorry, we're on page 26. 26.
Good morning, Your Honor. Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance, presenting case CE 22031206 for property located at 3057 Southwest 2nd Street. This property was first inspected on March 29th, 2022, and given time to correct for the following violations. 9-305B has been complied. 9-304B, there is a white automobile parked on the grass lawn area. The city is requesting compliance within 14 days or a fine of $25 per day thereafter.
Okay, ma'am, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
Good morning. My name is Diana Smith Rose. I represent FKH.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add to what this gentleman said?
No, we'll serve a notice for the resident to comply with the parking. A 7-day notice will be granted. 14 days is fine.
Okay. All right, for the record, I find that each violation exists. 42 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter. 14, not 42. I apologize. 14 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
For clarification, the only violation that's not cured is the parking, correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Our next case is on page 41. Inspector Boverick-Zanter, Supervisor Davila, presenting case number CE 21060120, case address 1417 Northwest 12th Street, owner Von Seal Jackson. This case was first heard on 2/24/22 to comply by 5/26/22. 8 sections not complied at $25 per day, $3,600 is accrued, and this is a request for an extension.
Good morning again. Julio Davila, City of Fort Lauderdale Co-Compliance Supervisor, presenting on behalf of Co-Compliance Officer Bovary Xantis for the case number and address is read. This case was first heard on February 24th, 2022, and the magistrate ruled in favor of the city, and the property owner was ordered 91 days to correct violations at this property. The violations do remain, and the property owners are requesting some additional time for compliance.
Okay, this is old business. Okay, ma'am, if you'll state your name for the record.
Minerva Parks Door.
All right, tell me what's going on here and how much of an extension you're requesting.
Well, I wasn't working. I'm taking over from my mom. She's disabled, so she asked me to take over for her to redo the house. So I need at least 90 days because I just started working. So I need 90 more days to get it. I put grass down. I ordered some grass. The guy bought the grass. It was dead. So he said he's not giving a refund and all that. So now I got to buy another pallet of grass. I already did the pool, but the guy didn't come out and check the pool yet. The pool is done, and half of the fascia boards, I'm doing that now. The fascia boards and stuff is getting done. But he hasn't been out yet to...
Okay. Who's going to do the work?
Well, the pool has already been done. We did the pool. Me and my son them did the pool. The fascia boards, my son is doing them. He did all of them except for one side. He didn't finish yet. The grass, I'm going to lay it out when I get it. I have to order it, another pallet, because the one he bought is no good.
Well, some of these are just so simple to correct. The house numbers.
Well, the house number is already on the mailbox, but I didn't put it up yet because we're doing the fascia boards. The mailbox has the house numbers on it.
Okay, all right. Well, we were here in February to comply by May the 26th.
At the time, she didn't have the funds to do none of that. I just started working, so I have to.
Special Magistrate, for the record, I do not object to an extension of time and a stay of fines for them to be able to correct these issues due to the underlying circumstances of the owner.
I'm sorry, the city's not objecting to
the request and a stay of any fines if applicable.
Okay. So the city's agreeable to an extension of how long?
I believe, what was it, 91 days you requested?
Yes. By then, it should be done. It's already started. The process has already started. So everything should be done by then.
Okay, say again how many days?
91 days, sir.
91 days, okay. I'm going to grant a 91-day extension. I'm going to stay the fines of this date, but I want a mandatory reappearance on September 13th, 2022. And hopefully everything gets cleaned up before that.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, ma'am.
Our next case is on page 43. Senior Inspector Gail Williams, Supervisor Davila presenting. Case number CE 21090170. Case address 205 Southwest 21st Terrace. Owner Steel Blue Land and Cattle LLC. This case was first heard on 1/11/22 to comply by 4/12/22. Suspended 4/12/22 to 6/14/22. One section not complied at $100 per day. Fines are due to start on 6/15/22, and this was in order to reappear.
Julio Davila, City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance Supervisor, presenting the aforementioned case, and property address is read for Senior Inspector Gail Williams. On January 11, 2022, at the special magistrate hearing, the special magistrate ordered 91 days for compliance or a fine of $100 per day thereafter, and a mandatory appearance on April 12th. At the April 12th hearing, the magistrate ordered a reappearance of 63 days with a stay of fines in order for the property owners, the representatives, and the city to get together to see what's the best course of action in order for compliance to be met with this unique type of zoning and the property that it is. The owner's representative is here to speak and I believe request additional time so that we can all come together and see what the best path moving forward is.
All right, state your name for the record and bring me up to date.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, first and foremost. My name is Bill Riley. I am the attorney for the property owner. I'm happy to report that we have made progress on this case. We still need to make more progress, but let me tell you where we sort of are. So this isn't a case about a unkept piece of property. It's actually a very small property that has been used for parking, off-street parking for decades. And it, lo and behold, became noticeable to the city several months ago that the zoning doesn't comply with the use. And we're trying to find a way to see if the zoning can comply with the use. So what we've done so far is in April, we had a pre-development review committee meeting, which is a meeting with your professional staff. Probably about 12 different departments were there, public works, zoning, planning, and all those other people. At that meeting, we shared our vision. Staff told us what research that they need to do. We're going back and forth right now just to see what the next step is. And once we are able to collectively agree on the next step, we're ready to proceed and take that next step. So it is an unusual situation. Again, it's more of a document situation where there's zoning and the use comply. So we are here to ask for an additional extension of time. And we would like to move this along as quickly as possible, but it is an unusual case.
And for the record, we're not opposed to that, sir.
I'm sorry, say again, please.
We're not opposed to that.
All right, how many days?
I think if we could do a notice to reappear in 60 days, I mean, keeps us honest that we're keeping this project moving forward. I certainly don't want to have it linger more than it needs to. I don't think I'll have it resolved in 60 days, Your Honor, but at least I can give you a report of where we stand.
91 days.
91 days? Okay, yes, Your
Just
Honor.
do 91 days and a mandatory reappearance on September 13th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Our next case is on page 8. Inspector Malika Murray. Case number CE 220300650. Case address 5561 Northeast 28th Avenue. Owner Dominic Darpino Estate. Property posted 5/16/22. Posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Inspector Murray for the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance. The case number is CE 22030650. The case address is at 5561 Northeast 28th Avenue. When I first inspected this property, which is a residential property that is zoned RS8 residential single family low medium density on March the 15th, 2022, the following violation was observed. The roof at this property is dirty, which is in violation of Ordinance 9-308B. Posting as well as mailing of legal documentation has been done as a part of Department of Protocol. This case was scheduled for the special magistrate hearing on April the 25th, 2022. There was a conversation with the ownership of the property in regards to the violation, and during that conversation, the status of the violation, as well as corrective actions for the violation were discussed. BCPA records indicate that there has been no change in ownership since August the 1st of 1977. This property is not homesteaded. A pre-hearing inspection of this property took place on Sunday, June the 12th, 2022, and found that the violation does remain as depicted in the pictures. The city is recommending 35 days to come into compliance or $50 per day for that violation thereafter.
Okay, sir, if you'll state your name for the record.
Don Darpino.
Anything you'd like to add to what this gentleman said?
Well, on the north side of the house, on the roof, I stopped the pressure washing where I did because there's a leak. And I'm trying to solve that first before I pressure wash it. Matter of fact, it was made worse by, not hurricane, but Tropical Storm Alex 2 weekends ago. So now there's a blue tarp there. I'm trying to get that fixed, and then once it's fixed, I can pressure wash and paint.
Okay. All right.
So far, I've had a few roofers come over, and they don't want to tackle it because it's too old. They're afraid to do a repair on such an old roof.
We're going to give it a try to get this done. I find the violation does exist, 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
And could I talk to about the specific areas that are the problem?
Yeah, get it taken, get the roof cleaned within 35 days, and you don't pay any fine. But if you don't get it done within 35 days, it'll be $50 a day thereafter.
All right, but for instance, I've already done the front section. I don't know if they want it again or.
Okay. Hang on.
That I'm not sure of.
Excuse
go
me,
ahead.
Honor. Supervisor Bass for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Your Honor, are you verbalizing that you are also that you have to get the roof repaired? Is that going to take the permitting process in order for you to get the repairs done prior to pressure washing the portion that hasn't been pressure washed yet?
On the north side of the house, I stopped pressure washing where the solar hot water panel is, because that's where the leak is. And I don't want to pressure wash it until I get it fixed. Okay. And so far, I'm having some trouble getting someone to do that.
So that's what my question is. So where are you at in that process as far as getting the roof fixed, the repair? Where are we at in the process for that?
Well, the roof's 55 years old. I haven't gotten a roofer to agree to attempt the repair yet. They say it's too old. They'll just be making new leaks as they, remove the material.
Okay, so Your Honor, can we go with 56 days in order to reappear? So hopefully by that time, that will give you time to obtain obtain a contract with a roofer to get the repairs done so you can complete the rest of the roof with the pressure cleaner. So we give 56 days in order to reappear. So that way, if you need more time to come in compliance, you can request it at that time, okay?
I see.
Okay. We'll modify the ruling to 56 days, $50 per day thereafter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
With an order to reappear, Your Honor.
Yeah, and a mandatory reappearance on August 9th, 2022.
And sir, you're the personal representative for the estate?
Yes.
Okay.
Our next case is also on page 8, Inspector Paulette Del Grasso, case number CE 22031064, case address 1221 Northeast 14th Avenue. Owner George Castrotaro and Jason Castrotaro. Property posted 5/18/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Del Grasso for the City of Fort Lauderdale. The case and addresser is read. The property was initially inspected on April 7th. The owner allowed me to have access to the backyard where I saw the pool in a stagnant condition. He said a leak was being repaired and he would have the pool restored to a clean condition within days. We stayed in communication over the following week, and I returned to leave mosquito dunks until the water could be cleaned. Despite working with the owner, by April 25th, I returned to the home to inspect the pool. An occupant staying at the residence told me through the Ring doorbell the pool had been shocked. I could not verify compliance as I did not enter the backyard. Therefore, a nuisance notice was posted on the front door with 10 days to restore the pool to have blue circulating water. An appointment was set with the owner to view the pool on May 3rd. However, once I arrived for the 8:30 a.m. appointment, the owner could not be reached by phone or at the front door. The neighbor living in the adjoining townhouse allowed me to view the pool from her top floor balcony. I could see the water was murky and not in compliance. To date, compliance has not been achieved. I have not been in touch with the owner since the last time we had an appointment set. He hasn't reached out to me to update me with any further information. Therefore, the city requests 10 days or $50 per day thereafter.
All right, sir, if you'll speak right into the microphone and state your name, please.
Sure. My name is George Castrataro.
Okay.
If I could just provide just a brief 1-minute overview. The inspector is correct. There was a leak in the pool that caused it to not function, but that leak was remedied in May, and the water was circulating and the pool was clear. Unfortunately, a second leak has arisen, and so I'm in the process of repairing that now.
I'm sorry,
I'm not myself, but I'm in the process of having it repaired now.
Okay.
They're still trying to locate the source is the only issue, so I'd ask if I could get...
Still needs to be re-inspected, so
Yes.
I'm going to find the violation does exist. 10 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 1. Captain Robert Kasarwich, case number FC 22040014, case address 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, number C. Owner Villas at Lakeview Condo Association, Inc., property posted 5/24/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Captain Robert Kasarwich, Fort Lauderdale Fire Marshal's Office, here to present case FC 22040014. Property address of 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, building number C. Property was cited in reference to NFPA 1 4.5.8.6. The fire alarm system has not been tested, inspected, or tagged in accordance with the code. I was out there just yesterday. Their alarm contractors are on site. They are making their way from building to building, doing the certifications on the fire alarm systems. It's anticipated that if it's not already done and completed by yesterday, that'll probably be completed by today. We are requesting, though, 28 days or $100 a day thereafter, and we'll do a follow-up. We did have a representative here who is with property management.
He does not have power of attorney to speak on the property, Your Honor. That's why he's not at the podium.
I'm sorry.
He did not have a power of attorney. That's why he's not at the podium.
He does not want to speak. He does not want to approach the podium. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So for the record, I find the violation does exist. 28 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter. Thank you.
Our next case is on page 2, FC 22040015, case address 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, number D. Owner Villas at Lakeview Condo Association, Inc., property posted 5/24/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
And Captain Robert Kasarwich, Fort Lauderdale Fire Marshal's Office for FC 22040015, property address 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, building number D. Property site in reference to NFPA 1.7.7.2. The fire alarm trouble is showing on the fire alarm panel. We're requesting the 28 days or $100 a day thereafter.
All right. I find the violation does exist. 28 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Our next case, FC 22040016, case address 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, number E. Owner Villas at Lakeview Condo Association, Inc., property posted 5/24/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
And Captain Robert Kasarwich, Fort Lauderdale Fire Marshal's Office for case FC 22040016 for the property address of 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, Building E. Property was cited in reference to NFPA 1, 4.5.8.6. The fire alarm system has not been tested, inspected, or tagged in accordance with the code. We're requesting 28 days or $100 a day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Our next case, FC 22040017, case address 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, number F, owner Villas at Lakeview Condo Association, Inc., property posted 5/24/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
And Captain Robert Kasarowicz for case FC 22040017, property address 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, Building F. Property was cited in reference to NFPA 1, 4.5.8.6. The fire alarm system has not been tested, inspected, and or tagged in accordance with the code. We're requesting 28 days or $100 a day thereafter.
Okay. I find the violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Our next case on page 3, FC 22040019, case address 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, number G, property posted 5/24/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
And Captain Robert Kasarowicz for Fort Lauderdale Fire Marshal's Office, here to present case FC 22040019 for the property address of 5200 Northwest 31st Avenue, Building G. Property was cited in reference to NFPA 1, 4.5.8.6. The fire alarm system has not been tested, inspected, or tagged in accordance with the code. We're requesting 28 days or $100 a day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
And before we start the non-respondents, Your Honor, we're going to take a brief recess.
Yes.
And the person I need has arrived. We're on page 7, right? We're on page 7, right? Yes.
Apologies to everyone in the building.
Our next case is on page 7. Case number CE22030054. Case address 2700 Northeast 59th Street. Owners Anthony Angeline Galgano. Property posted 5/16/20. I'm sorry, Inspector Malika Murray. Property posted 5/16/22. Post at City Hall 5/31/22. 2700.
Inspector Murray, on behalf of the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance, case number is CE 22030054. The case address is at 2700 Northeast 59th Street. I first inspected this residential property that is zoned as a RD15, residential single-family and duplex medium-density zoned location on March the 1st, 2022. March the 1st, 2022, following a routine patrol of the area, and the following violation was found and cited. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. The entire front lawn has been replaced with crushed rock. Posting as well as mailing of legal documentation has been done as per departmental protocol. This case was scheduled for a special magistrate hearing on April the 13th, 2022. There were conversations by phone and in person with residents as well as ownership of the property about the violation that was cited. During these conversations, the status of the violation as well as corrective action for resolution were discussed. I most recently spoke with counsel for ownership yesterday, and counsel's name is Mr. Loshak, and he expressed his client's intentions to bring the property into compliance after they seek the proper permitting from the landscaping department. In addition to that, BCPA records revealed no changes in ownership since July the 31st, 2014. This property is homesteaded. A pre-hearing inspection performed on Sunday, June the 12th, 2022, found that the violation does remain as depicted in the picture. The city is requesting a recommendation of 35 days to bring this violation into compliance, or $50 per day to begin to accrue thereafter. And I am submitting photos for the record as evidence.
I find the violation does exist, 35 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Our next case on page 7, case number CE22030185. Case address 4205 Northeast 22nd Avenue. Owner Rosemary Bennett. Property posted 5/23/22. Post at City Hall 5/31/22. Inspector Murray.
Could I have that address again, please?
4205 Northeast 22nd Avenue.
And yes, case number CE 22030185 for the case address of 4205 Northeast 22nd Avenue. I first inspected this residential property that is zoned RS 4.4 residential single family low density on March the 1st, 2022. And following a routine patrol of the area, I found that the property was overgrown at the time, which has now subsequently been brought into compliance. The property also had a swimming pool that had stagnant water with debris at the bottom, which has also been brought into compliance as well. In addition to that, there was a violation for 9-280H1, where the fence at the property was in disrepair and not being maintained as required. There are damaged wood slats and leaning portions of that fence. The next violation would be for 9-308B. The roof is stained and dirty. There's also plant life growing on the roof as well. In addition to that, the next violation would be for 9-308A. There are multiple broken and missing roof tiles at this property. The roof is not being maintained in a good state of repair and is not being maintained weather tight or watertight. Posting and mailing of legal documentation has been done as per departmental protocol. This case was scheduled for a special magistrate hearing on April the 26th, 2022. There was conversations by phone as well as in person with property representation about the violations that were cited, and during these conversations, the status of the violations and corrective actions for resolution were discussed. BCPA records indicate that there's been no change in ownership since August of August 19th, 1996. This property is homesteaded. During a pre-hearing inspection performed on Sunday, June the 12th, 2022, I found that the violations do remain as depicted in the pictures. The city is recommending 63 days to bring the property into compliance, or $50 per day to begin to accrue for each violation thereafter. And I'm submitting these photos as records for evidence.
Okay, 63 days. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I find that each violation does exist. 63 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter on each.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 10, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 200-30011, case address 1101 Park Drive, owner Marilyn Jean, property posted 5/25/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
That case was complied.
Our next case is on page 11, Inspector Gustavo Caracas, case number CE 220300621, case address 925 Northwest 3rd Avenue, numbers 1 through 4. Owner Giovanni Pham and Rodney James. Property posted 5/21/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Caracas, City of Fort Lauderdale, Compliance Inspector, presenting case number CE 220300621 for the property located at 925 Northwest 3rd Avenue. Inspection of the property was performed on March 9th, 2022, and cited for the following violation. 47-20.20.h. The parking facility is not maintained at this property. The paint on the striping and wheel stops have faded or the surface contains crack. It is required resurfacing and painting and restriping. Courtesy notice was actually issued and sent via first class mail to as per BCPA address on March 9th of 2022, allowing 15 days to come into compliance. Contact has not been made with anybody on the property. Special magistrate request form sent on April 5th of 2022, scheduled for today's special master. Pre-hearing inspection was done on June 9th of 2022, and as you can see on the picture, Your Honor, the posting is still there, which means nobody has actually done or answered the calling of my postings either. The city is requesting the following: 35 days to come into compliance or a daily fine of $100 for the violation that exists. The photo submitted into record for evidence.
I'm sorry, how many days?
35 or $100 thereafter.
Okay, I find the violation does exist, 35 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 12, Inspector Bernstein Sandberg, case number CE 220300071, case address 1115 Northeast 16th Avenue, owner John Maltby, property posted 5/23/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Bernstein Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale, Community Enhancement, case number CE 22030071, property address 1115 Northeast 16th Ave. This property was inspected for our area project on March 2nd, 2022, cited for the following violations. 9305B, landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. They are dead and missing ground cover. Due to noncompliance on April 4, 2022, notice of hearing was posted on the property. If pre-hearing inspections reveal violation stated is not in compliance, I would like to enter the photos as evidence that shows violation as depicted. City is requesting 28 days to comply or a fine of $25 per day per violation.
I find the violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Our next case, case number CE 220300078, case address 1128 Northeast 16th Avenue, owner Cameron Metzger, property posted 5/23/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Bernstein Sandberg, City of Fort Lauderdale, Community Enhancement, case number CE 22030078, property address 1128 Northeast 16th Ave. Property was inspected for our area project on March 2nd, 2022, cited for the following violations. 9-304B, gravel driveway is not being maintained. It is not well graded. There is grass and weed growing through it. Due to noncompliance on April 4th, 2022, notice of hearing was posted on the property. Pre-hearing inspection revealed the following violation is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violation as depicted. City is requesting 28 days to comply or a fine of $25 per day.
I find the violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Our next case is on page 14. Inspector Darren Emmons, Supervisor Reggie White presenting case number CE 220300318, case address 1108 Southwest 22nd Terrace. Owner McLean Family Trust, Robert and Carolyn McLean, trustee. Property posted 5/16/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Good morning, Reggie White, co-compliance supervisor for the city of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 220300318 for Inspector Darren Emmons. This property was initially inspected on March 7, 2022. The following violations were observed. 9-305B for the landscape on the property not being properly maintained. 9-304B is in compliance. A notice of hearing was posted at the property on May 16, 2022, and a pre-hearing inspection was conducted on June 5, 2022. The city requests 63 days to come into compliance, or a fine of $25 per day shall be imposed thereafter. Just want to note that the property owner, I believe, was a little confused about the violation, did reach out to the city, but they do intend to comply.
Okay, I find the violation does exist, 63 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Our next case is on page 16. Inspector Darren Emmons, Supervisor Reggie White presenting case number CE 220300383, case address 525 Southwest 26th Avenue. Owner TAH 2018-1 Borrow LLC. Property posted 5/16/22. Posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Reggie White, co-compliance supervisor for the city of Fort Lauderdale, presenting the case at 525 Southwest 22nd Avenue for Inspector Darren Emmons. This property was initially inspected on March 9, 2022, and the following violations were observed. 9-305B, the landscape at the property is not being properly maintained. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-304B is in compliance. 9-306 is in compliance as well. A notice of hearing was posted at the property on May 16, 2022, and a pre-hearing inspection was conducted on June 5, 2022. The city is requesting 21 days to come into compliance, or a fine of $25 per day shall be imposed.
Okay, I find the violation does exist, 21 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Our next case is on page 17. Inspector Darren Emmons, Supervisor Reggie White presenting case number CE 220300212, case address 1441 Southwest 32nd Terrace, 32nd Street. Owner, Franjack Properties LLC. Property posted 5/16/22. Posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Reggie White, co-compliance supervisor for the city of Fort Lauderdale, presenting the case reference at 1441 Southwest 32nd Street for Inspector Darren Emmons. On March 5th, 2022, the following violations were observed. Violation of 9-304B has come into compliance. Violation of the ordinance 9-308A. The roof is not maintained in a safe and secure manner. It's not watertight. The shed or outer building behind the property is not maintained either. The roof is collapsing. Violation of the ordinance 9-308B. There's debris, trash, and other elements which is not permitted on the roof. There's dead vegetation to include leaves, branches, and other miscellaneous items. Violation of 8-12A. There's overgrowth and trash and debris on this occupied property. Notice of hearing was posted on the property May 16, 2022, and a pre-hearing inspection was conducted June 5th, 2022. I want to submit an email from the attorney representing the property owner. In the record, he was not able to attend today, so I'm just submitting this email from the attorney.
Okay. All right.
The attorney stated that he was not able to attend, but that he needed additional time to come into compliance because they're actually applying for a permit to get a new roof. So the city is requesting 63 days to come into compliance or have a fine imposed of $25 per day thereafter.
Okay, I find the violations do exist. 63 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 24. Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 22030667. Case address 3200 West Broad Boulevard. Owner A&M Investments of America, LLC. Personal service was given to this property on May 24, 2022, and posted at City Hall on May 31st, 2022.
Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance, presenting case CE 22030667 for property located at 3200 West Broward Boulevard. This property was first inspected on March 14th, 2022, and given time to correct for the following violations. 9-306 is complied. 47-20.20.h, there are parking facilities that are not maintained at this property. There are potholes and areas where the blacktop is missing. 24-28C is complied. 24-28A is complied. The city is requesting compliance within 14 days or a fine of $25 per day thereafter.
I'm sorry, how many days?
14, Your Honor.
Okay, I found the violations do exist. 14 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Our next case is on page 25. Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 19082187. Case address 691 Southwest 30th Avenue. Owner Michael DeFate and Nella DeVerge.
I'm sorry.
Property posted 5/23/22, posted at City Hall 5/31/22.
Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance, presenting case CE 19082187 for property located at 691 Southwest 30th Avenue. This property was first inspected on August 28, 2019, and given time to correct for the following violations. 18-4C is complied. 47-34.1.A.1 is complied. 9-304B is there are vehicles, trailers parked on the lawn area. 9-305B, the landscape of this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-305A is complied. 18-12A is complied. 9-306 is complied, and 9-308A is complied. The city is requesting compliance within 14 days or a fine of $25 per violation per day thereafter.
I find the remaining violations do exist. 14 days to comply, $25 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 28. Case number CE 22040858, case address 1309 Middle River Drive, owner White Residence LLC. This case was cited on 4/28/22 to comply by 4/28/22. One section complied at $400 per day. $3,200 accrued. The city is requesting full amount, and no appeal was received for the citation.
City's request is granted.
Case number CE 22041058, case address 3338 Northwest 69th Street, owner Hector Maldonado. This case was cited on 5/2/22 to comply by 5/17/22. One section complied at $200 per day, $2,800 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
The city's request is granted.
Case number CE 22040176, case address 1117 Northeast 16 Terrace, owner Michael Quijayas. This case was cited on 4822 to comply by 42322. One section complied at $200 per day, $8,600 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
City's request is granted.
Our next case is on page 29, case number CE 22040198, case address 548 Northeast 11th Avenue, owner NEPL2 LLC. This case was cited on 4722 to comply by 42222. One section complied at $200 per day, $4,800 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
City's request is granted.
Case number CE 22040200, case address 1108 Northeast 16 Terrace, owners Andrew and Jupina Pergois. This case was cited on 4722 to comply by 42222. One section not complied at $200 per day, $10,400 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue. No appeal was received for the citation.
Granted.
Case number CE 22040209, case address 1220 Northeast 16th Avenue, owner Sharon Family Trust, Norman Sharon trustee. This case was cited on 4722 to comply by 42222. One section complied at $200 per day, $3,200 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
Granted.
Our next case is on page 30. Case number CE 22040221, case address 1205 Northwest 1st Avenue, owners Elcion Aguiar and Antonio Garcia. This case was cited on 4722 to comply by 42222. One section complied at $200 per day, $3,200 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
Granted.
Case number CE 22040280, case address 230 North Southwest 13th Avenue, owner Marie Ferret and Liz Marie Santagata. This case was cited on 4822 to comply by 42322. One section not complied at $200 per day, $10,200 is accrued. The city is requesting full amount, and fines continue to accrue. No appeal was received for the citation.
The city's request is granted.
Case number CE 22040308, case address 17 Northeast 9th Avenue, owner Anne Mary LLC. This case was cited on 4922 to comply by 42422. One section complied at $200 per day, $3,000 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
City's request is granted.
Case number CE 22031304, case address 1836 Southwest 9th Avenue, owner Ronna Rogowski Estate. This case was cited on 33122 to comply by 41522. One section complied at $200 per day, $600 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
Request is granted.
Case number CE 22020259, case address 1540 Southwest 5th Place, number 1, owner 101 Riverside Realty Group LLC. This case was cited on 31622 to comply by 33122. One section complied at $200 per day, $8,200 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
Granted.
Case number CE 22040674, case address 700 Southeast 14th Court, numbers 1 through 3, owner Janet Rosa. This case was cited on 42122 to comply by 5622. One section complied at $200 per day, $2,800 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
City's request is granted.
Case number CE 22040675, case address 3420 Southwest 16th Street, owner Monica Delgado. This case was cited on 42022 to comply by 5522. One section complied at $200 per day, $1,400 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
The request is granted.
Our next case is on page 32, case number CE 22041065, case address 2708 Northeast 26th Street, owner Magali Mueller Merzanasco and Jean-Francois Mueller. This case was cited on 5222 to comply by 5422. One section complied at $200 per day, $1,200 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
The request is granted.
Case number CE 22040006, Case address 6311 Northeast 20th Way. Owner, Amer Properties LLC. This case was cited on 4/3/22 to comply by 4/4/22. One section complied at $150 per day. $1,200 accrued. The city is requesting full amount, and no appeal was received for the citation.
The request is granted.
Case number CE 21071063, case address 636 Northeast First Avenue, owner 626 Flagler LLC. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 4/26/22. Two sections not complied at $50 per day. $4,800 has accrued. One section complied at $50 per day. $1,050 accrued. A total of $5,850 has accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue on the non-compliant violations.
The request is granted.
Case number CE 22040879, case address 1 Fiesta Way, owner Luis Paulino and Nancy Paulino and Louis Paulino Sr. This case was cited on 4/25/22 to comply by 4/25/22. One section complied at $200 per day, $400 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
The request is granted.
Our next case is on page 34, case number CE 22040936, case address 3001 East Las Olas Boulevard, owner Brooklyn 46th LLC. This case was cited on 4/26/22 to comply by 4/26/22. One section not complied at $250 per day. $12,000 is accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue, and no appeal was received for the citation.
The request is granted.
Case number CE 22020236, case address 3861 Southwest 11th Street, owner TAH 2017-2 Barrow LLC in care of Tricon American Homes LLC. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 4/26/22. Two sections not complied at $25 per day. $2,400 is accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Our next case is on page 35, case number CE 22020396, case address 1111 Southwest 39th Avenue, owner Bath Assets LLC. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 5/10/22. One section not complied at $25 per day. $850 is accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
The request is granted.
Our next case is on page 37. Case number CE 22040738. Case address 1018 Northwest 2nd Avenue. Owner James Hillsby II. This case was cited on 4/21/22 to comply by 4/24/22. Two sections complied at $200 per day. $400 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
The request is granted.
Case number CE 22020740. Case address 1400 Northeast 13th Street. Owner THR Florida LP. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 5/10/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. $1,700 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and fines continue to accrue.
Granted.
Case number CE 22040154. Case address 1227 Northeast 5th Terrace. Owner 1227 Northeast 5th Terrace LLC. This case was cited on 4/25/22 to comply by 4/27/22. Two sections complied at $200 per day. $7,200 accrued. The city is requesting full amount and no appeal was received for the citation.
Granted.
Our next case is on page 40. Case number CE 22020393. Case address 920 Northwest 2nd Avenue. Owners Corbell and Hilda Cooper. This case was first heard on 4/12/22 to comply by 4/22/22. One section not complied at $50 per day. $2,600 accrued. The city is requesting full amount be imposed and fines continue to accrue.
The request is granted.
The city is requesting to enter pages 45 and 46 into today's hearing as an exhibit. It is the city's list of complied, closed, withdrawn, and rescheduled cases.
All right, granted.
This concludes the special magistrate hearing agenda for June 14, 2022.